Hi guys, welcome to this very special workshop. My name is Michael and in today's workshop, tuturuan ko kayo kung paano mag-scalp sa forex market. So itong strategy na ituturo ko sa inyo, I've been doing this for years already kapag nag-scalp ako sa forex. So this strategy is very simple and very systematic and I'm sure magugustuhan nyo itong strategy na to. So before we begin, papakilala lang muna ako. My name is Michael Leonor. I've been trading the forex market for 10 years already as a retail trader. And meron na rin akong 3 years experience as a prop trader. Online coach ako with over 5,000 students internationally and locally. Head coach din ako sa the 30-Minute Trader Academy. I am also a Udemy instructor and lastly, ako yung creator ng Becoming a Trader Facebook page and YouTube channel. So that is me in a nutshell. Now, before we dive deep dun sa strategy, I think it's very important for us to know kung ano ba yung different styles of trading. Kasi katulad ng sabi ko, itong strategy na to is a scalping strategy. Pero ano pa ba yung ibang style besides scalping? So ito yung mga different styles ng pagte-trade. So ito yung very common na maririnig sa trading community, no? So we have scalping, day trading, and swing trading. So i-compare natin to para makita nyo yung mga difference nila. So meron tayong duration, time frames na ginagamit, targets, trade quantity, and then yung risk per trade. Now, hindi ito yung standard na sagot, pero ito yung based lang sa experience ko. Alright? So, let's start with the duration. Now, for scalping, ang duration ng trades usually is from few minutes to 1 hour or 2. Right? So, medyo, kung papansinin nyo, medyo mabilis. Kasi few minutes lang nagtatagal yung trades natin. And siguro sometimes kapag nakita natin na okay yung market, pwede natin i-hold to ng medyo matagal, like 1 hour or 2. Right? Pero in a nutshell, mabilisan lang yung pagtitrade natin as a scalper. Now we have day traders or day trading. So ang duration naman yan, few hours. Pero when it comes to scalping and day trading, usually kino-close na nila yung mga trades nila before the market ends. Okay, so hindi na nila hino-hold to overnight. And then we have the swing traders or swing trading. So ito naman hino-hold nila yung trades nila from few days to few weeks. So medyo laid back, medyo chill itong type of trading na to as compared to scalping and day trading kasi medyo matagal yung holding time natin as a swing trader. Now, when it comes to time frames naman, ito yung mga usual na ginagamit. So, first, as a scalper, pwede kayong gumamit ng 1 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minute time frame. So, dito sa maliliit na time frame. For day trading, ito yung usual na ginagamit, 5 minute or 1 hour time frame. Sa swing trading naman, 4 hour daily or weekly. So ito yung medyo malalaking time frame na, no. But again, hindi ito yung standard time frame. So pwedeng mabago-bago yan, pwedeng 2 minute, 4 minute, 6 minute time frame as a scalper. So depende sa inyo to, pero hindi ito yung standard. I just want to show you kung ano yung difference nila in these different categories. Alright? So, when it comes to targets, ito depende rin. So, usually, pwede kayong gumamit ng ATR. So, average true range. So, ito yung average pip move ng currency pair. Alright? Kasi nagdedepende rin to sa strategy na ginagamit nyo. Pero syempre, let's say as a scalper, yung target natin medyo malapit lang din as compared to day trading and swing trading. Then when it comes to trade quantity naman, so for scalper, nag-average ng 5 to 10 trades per day. For day traders or day trading, 2 to 4 trades per day. For swing trader, 1 to 5 trades per week. And then for risk per trade naman, so ito yung risk ng scalping or scalpers, very low lang. So around 0.25% to 0.5% of your account balance. So, bakit sobrang liit ng risk natin? Kasi yung quantity ng trades natin as a scalper, madami. Okay? And mas prone dito yung human error. Kaya kailangan maliit lang yung risk natin and then babawi tayo dun sa quantity ng trades natin. And of course, quality as well. So for day trading naman, moderate risk. So 0.5% to 1% kasi nag-average lang tayo ng 2 to 4 trades per day. Okay? And then for swing trading, ito medyo moderate din. So 0.5 to 1%. Actually, as a swing trader, in terms of quantity, syempre, mas onte. Pwede kayo medyo maging aggressive. So moderate to aggressive yung risk nyo. Kasi mas ang focus natin dito is yung quality, not the quantity. Right? So, pwede nyo pang taasan to. But siguro, just to be on the safe side, 0.5 to 1% per trade. Okay? So, similar sa day trading. So, ito yung differences ng scalping, day trading, and swing trading. Now, ang question lagi dito, ano ba yung pinaka-okay? Maging scalper ba? Maging day trader ba? Maging swing trader ba? So, ito, depende sa inyo to. Depende sa personality nyo. Of course, depende sa lifestyle nyo, sa availability nyo. Kasi kahit na gusto nyo maging scalper, kung hindi naman kayo available every day, hindi sa inyo mag-work yung scalping, right? So, pwede nyong itry and then tignan nyo kung ano yung mag-work sa inyo. Alright? So, let's begin with our strategy. So, itong strategy na to, ito yung strategy na tinatawag kong first pullback strategy. So, again, this is a scalping strategy or pwede nyo rin gamitin as a day trading strategy. Pero in a nutshell, maliit na time frame yung gagamitin natin dito. Alright? So, first, let's discuss the requirements and tools na kailangan nating gamitin for this strategy. So first, you must know how to read price chart kasi strategy lesson na to. So syempre, kung strategy na yung pinag-aaralan natin, kailangan marunong tayo somehow magbasa ng price chart. So kaya na natin gumawa ng directional bias natin. Kaya na rin natin mag-plot ng support and resistance levels natin. So sobrang importante nito before you dive deep sa strategy. So yan, kailangan marunong na kayong mag-create ng directional bias nyo. So bullish ba kayo for this day? Bearish ba kayo for this day? Or neutral kayo? Right? So very important yan. Now, when it comes to tools, ang mga pwede natin gamitin, so gagamit tayo, hindi pala pwede. Ito talaga yung gagamitin natin. So gagamit tayo ng oscillator. So pwede kayong gumamit ng MACD, RSI, or stochastic kasi pare-pareho lang yan na oscillator, pero choose one lang. Okay? Isa lang yung gamitin nyo. Now, dito sa workshop na to, sa mga examples na makikita nyo, ang gagamitin ko is MACD kasi ito yung ginagamit ko for my trading. And then, Fibonacci retracement. Alright, Fibonacci retracement. And then, in terms of time frame natin, gagamit tayo ng 5-minute time frame and 1-hour time frame. So, for the 5-minute time frame, dito tayo mag-execute ng trades natin. And then, for the hourly time frame, dito tayo naman magpa-plot ng levels natin or yung support and resistance, right? And since nag-scalp tayo sa market, kailangan natin gumamit ng account na may low spread. So, don't worry, ituturo ko sa inyo later kung paano kayo makakuha ng account na may very low spread. So, very important to kasi as a scalper, maliit na move lang yung kinukuha natin. Now, pag-usapan muna natin yung divergence kasi dito sa strategy na to, gagamit tayo ng divergence. Kasi dito sa strategy na to, gagamit tayo ng divergence. So, divergence in a nutshell. So, divergence between price and momentum indicator shows weakening momentum. So, indication to ng potential upcoming change. Okay, so potential, hindi siya certain na magkakaroon ng change, but potential change in the immediate trend or move of the time frame where the divergence has formed. Alright, dun sa time frame kung saan nag-form yung divergence. So, we will wait for this pattern at key levels of support and resistance, which creates high probability trading scenarios. So, meron tayong dalawang types of divergence. So, we have the hidden divergence and regular divergence. For hidden divergence, it signals for a continuation. And then for regular divergence naman, it signals for a reversal. For this strategy, ang gagamitin natin yung regular divergence. Pero pag-uusapan din natin kung anong difference ng hidden and regular divergence. Alright? So, yung tools na pwede natin gamitin para sa divergence, MACD, or RSI, or stochastic. So, pili lang kayo dyan. Again, ang ginagamit ko is MACD. Alright? So, regular divergence, meron tayong bullish and then meron din tayong bearish. So, kapag bullish divergence or bullish regular divergence, yung price gumagawa siya ng lower low. Pero yung indicator natin gumagawa ng higher low. So, don't worry, papakita ko sa inyo mamaya to. Take down note lang kayo. So, for bearish regular divergence naman, yung price gumagawa ng higher high and yung indicator gumagawa ng lower high. So, merong disagreement with price and indicator. So, nagsisignal to for a potential reversal. Now, for hidden divergence naman, of course, meron din tayong bullish and bearish. So, for bullish, yung price natin gumagawa ng higher low, pero yung indicator natin gumagawa ng lower low. Yung bearish naman, yung price gumagawa ng lower high, and then yung indicator natin gumagawa ng higher high. And this signals for a continuation. Alright? So, to illustrate, ano bang itsura ng hidden divergence? So, let's start with this one. So, for bullish hidden divergence, so again, continuation yung hidden divergence. So, ito yung price natin, and then ito yung momentum indicator natin. So, yung price, gumawa siya ng higher low. So, let's say uptrend to. Gumawa siya ng higher low. And then, nakita natin yung momentum indicator natin gumawa ng lower low. So, kapag nakita natin to, nagsisignal to na possible mag-continue pa yung move niya to the upside. Alright? So, price higher low, momentum indicator lower low. For bearish divergence naman, yung price natin lower high, pero yung momentum indicator natin higher high. Okay? So, kapag nakita natin to, meron tayong bearish hidden divergence and possible na magkaroon tayo ng continuation to the downside. Let's have an example. So, dito, gold sa 4-hour time frame to. Kasi example lang, right? So, galing tayo ng sideways market condition. Nagkaroon tayo ng rally. Nagkaroon tayo ng higher high, right? And then, dito, at this point, meron tayong higher low. Nag-rally, and then ito, gumawa ulit ng higher low, right? Pero kung titingnan natin, yung momentum indicator natin, gumawa naman siya ng lower low, right? So, dito, higher low. So, higher low. Dito, meron tayong low and then lower low. Okay? So, meron tayong hidden divergence or bullish hidden divergence. So, at this point, malaki yung potential niya na mag-rally to the upside. And as you can see, ang ginawa niya, nag-rally siya. Right? So, again, hidden divergence, nagsisignal to for continuation. Pero hindi natin gagamitin to sa scalping strategy natin. So, good to know lang to just in case magamit nyo sa pagte-trade nyo. Alright? Now, let's go to regular divergence. Ito yung gagamitin naman natin sa trading strategy natin. So, again, this signals for a reversal. So, meron tayong bullish and bearish regular divergence. So, for bullish, yung price natin, kailangan makita natin gumagawa ng lower low. And yung momentum indicator natin, gumagawa siya ng higher low. So, lower low in price, higher low sa momentum indicator. And the next is bearish regular divergence naman. Yung price natin, gumagawa ng higher high. Pero yung momentum indicator natin, gumagawa ng lower high. So, dito may possible downside move tayo or reversal. Dito naman, possible upside move. Alright, so let's have an example. So GBP/USD 4-hour time frame naman. So as you can see, galing tayo ng downside move. So pwedeng downtrend to, right? Lower lows and lower highs. So kung papansinin nyo, ito yung last lower low natin bago tayo nagkaroon netong lower low, right? So lower low in price, and then kung titingnan natin yung momentum indicator natin, pataas siya. So dito gumawa siya ng higher low. So that means itong trend na to, itong trend na to, possible mag-shift na siya to maybe uptrend or ranging, right? So, possible na patapos na siya. Kasi nawawalan na ng momentum yung price or yung move, right? Kasi meron na tayong bullish divergence. And as you can see, nagkaroon tayo ng reversal. Alright? Another example, so ito naman, bearish, Euro JPY, 1-hour time frame. So, galing tayo ng uptrend, higher high, higher high, right? Kung titingnan natin yung momentum indicator natin, so ito yung last higher high, then nagkaroon tayo ng lower high. So, ito yung higher high natin, and then dito yung lower high, right? So, nagsisignal to na nawawalan na ng momentum yung upside move, and possible magkaroon tayo ng reversal kasi nagdi-disagree na yung price and momentum indicator. And then, ang nangyari, nagkaroon tayo ng downside. So, that's divergence in a nutshell. Again, ang gagamitin lang natin, regular divergence, hindi natin gagamitin yung hidden divergence. Alright, so with that, let's move on to setting up our tools. So, yung mga tools na gagamitin natin, price chart, of course, kailangan natin to, momentum indicator, Fibonacci retracement. So, for our momentum indicator, pwede kayong gumamit ng MACD, or RSI, or stochastic. Pili lang kayo. Pero I suggest gamitin nyo either MACD or RSI kasi yung stochastic sobrang sensitive niya. Okay? But still, pwede nyo pa rin naman gamitin. Now, in terms of yung settings ng MACD or RSI, so ito lang yung gamit ko. So, default setting to dito sa indicators na to. Okay? And then, Fibonacci retracement. So, ito yung gagamitin naman natin for our entry and target. So, for our entry, ito yung mga ratio. 38.2%, 50%, and 618%. So, dito pag sineset up natin yung Fibonacci retracement natin, yung 38.2%, 0.382 yan. Yung 50%, 0.5. Yung 618, 0.618. Okay? Now, for our profit target, gagamit pa rin tayo ng Fibonacci retracement, pero idadagdag lang natin tong ratio na to sa settings natin. Okay? Negative 127.2%. So, paano natin ilalagay yan sa Fibonacci retracement natin? Ta-type nyo lang, negative 0.27. Okay? So, ito yung mga tools na gagamitin natin. Now, let's talk about preparing our day for scalping. So, first, look at the economic calendar for any potential high-risk events that could interfere with your trades. So, punta lang kayo sa OctaFX and then makikita nyo doon yung economic calendar. Now, once na nandun na kayo sa economic calendar page, dito nyo makikita yung mga high-impact news na pwedeng magpagalaw sa market. So, yung oras, pwede nyo siyang ayusin para mag-sync siya sa kung nasan man kayo ngayon sa mundo. So, as for me, ang ginagamit ko dito is Philippine time kasi nandito ako sa Pilipinas. Okay? Do a proper top-down approach. So, this one is very important. Kailangan meron kayong directional bias for the day. Then, mark off level of support and resistance to set up trading zone. So, dito tayo mag-aabang ng trade natin sa support and resistance. Now, ang pwede nyong gamitin na time frame dito is 1 hour time frame. Mas okay mag-plot sa mas mataas na time frame, especially 1 hour time frame ng support and resistance kesa dun tayo sa execution time frame natin, which is the 5-minute time frame. Okay? So, pwede nyong gamitin as support and resistance yung swing points, big figures, trend lines, Fibonacci, etc. Pwede rin kayong gumamit ng mga moving average, right? So, depende sa kung anong support and resistance yung ginagamit nyo. And then, after that, maghihintay na lang tayo na ma-develop yung setup dun sa mga levels na yun. Okay? Now, how to spot the setup? So, once price move into your predetermined level of support and resistance, look at the momentum indicator to see if you have a potential setup. So again, ang hahanapin natin dito, regular divergence. So yun yung nagsisignal for a reversal. So you can usually see this developing ahead of time before they actually qualify for this setup. So you want to see price extending to new highs or lows. However, the momentum indicator is slowing down. So kung di nyo pa naintindihan, mamaya papakita ko sa inyo. Mark this off on your chart and wait for the price to impulsively break the neckline to confirm the setup. Alright? So ano ba yung itsura ng trading strategy natin? So to illustrate, ganito yung itsura niya. So for bullish setup, so we have our price and our momentum indicator. So yung price kailangan nasa support level siya. Okay? And then, meron tayong lower low and another lower low. Okay? So gumagawa siya ng lower low. Sa momentum indicator natin, kailangan makakita naman tayo ng higher low. Alright? So bullish regular divergence. So higher low sa momentum indicator, lower low sa price. Okay? Now, yung midpoint kung saan na-develop yung divergence, okay? So itong last lower high, right? Ito yung tatawagin natin na neckline. Okay? So ito yung neckline. Now, ang kailangan natin makita, ma-break yan impulsively. Okay? So kumbaga may momentum or may conviction yung pag-break ng price dito sa neckline. So pag na-break natin to, magkakaroon na tayo ng higher high. So somehow may change of structure na tayo. Okay? So para mas magets nyo, I'll give you an example sa chart. So we're looking at Euro USD sa 5-minute time frame. So ito may support level tayo dito. So nag-base ako dito sa 1-hour support. So ito yan. Pag in-extend natin to, may support pa dyan. So as you can see, yung price pababa from here, right? Bumaba, and then nung na-reach na niya yung support level, kung titingnan natin yung momentum indicator natin, gumagawa na ng higher low, right? Pero yung price natin gumagawa ng lower low pa rin. Okay, so since nagdi-disagree na sila, may potential reversal na tayo dito. Okay? Or potential setup. So ang hihintay na lang natin, ma-break yung neckline, which is this one. Okay? So, yan yung midpoint. So, na-break yung neckline natin, nagkaroon ng breakout, nagkaroon tayo ng higher high. So, ito yung setup natin. Kapag nakakita tayo ng ganitong setup, that means pwede na tayong mag-abang dun sa first pullback. Now, ito naman yung bearish setup. So, we have our price and our momentum indicator. And kailangan nasa resistance level siya. So, yung price natin gumagawa ng higher high, pero yung momentum indicator natin gumagawa siya ng lower high. So, higher high in price, lower high sa momentum indicator. And of course, yung midpoint, yan yung neckline natin. Let's have an example. So, GBP USD 5-minute time frame. So, galing tayo ng upside move and may resistance tayo dito. Now, ito, galing din to sa 1-hour resistance. Hindi na lang nakita dito kasi nasa medyo malayo yung 1-hour resistance natin. Alright? So, galing tayo ng uptrend. So, higher high yung price, lower high yung momentum indicator natin. So, this would be our neckline. Okay? And then, nagkaroon tayo ng break from that neckline. So, from higher low, right? Higher lows, nagkaroon tayo ng lower low. So, may change of structure tayo. Now, at this point, meron tayong bearish sa top. Maghintay na lang tayo ng first pullback. Now, let's talk about our entry. So, paano ba tayo papasok sa trade, no? So, first, we will wait for the first pullback given na nangyari na to. Okay, pag nangyari na to, maghintay tayo ng first pullback. Once price starts to retrace, we will then plot our Fibonacci retracement. So, pag nakita na natin na nag-start na siya mag-retrace, ipa-plot na natin yung Fibonacci retracement natin. Okay? So, we will wait for price to enter our trading zone. So, ang trading zone natin is 38.2% to 618%. Okay? So, between these ratios. And then, wait for candlestick rejection to enter the trade. So, dito sa EUR-USD 5-minute example natin, so, again, ito, meron na tayong bullish divergence. So, gumagawa na siya ng lower low, yung price, and then yung indicator natin gumagawa ng higher low. Na-break na rin natin yung neckline. So, ang hintayin natin dito is yung retracement niya. So, dito nagkaroon tayo ng bearish candlestick. So, pwede na tayong mag-plot ng Fibonacci retracement natin from this low to this high. Kasi ito yung buong move niya. Okay? And then, lalabas yung ratios natin. So, dito pa lang, hindi na nag-hold yung 38.2, right? So, ito yung trading zone natin. Now, since yung price nasa trading zone na, maghihintay naman tayo ngayon ng candlestick rejection. So, dito nagkaroon tayo ng candlestick rejection. Okay? So, saan siya nag-hold? Sa 618% retracement. Alright? So pwedeng mag-shoot, overshoot ng onte beyond 618% as long as nasa area pa siya or hindi pa siya ganun kalayo. Okay? Pag andito yung candlestick rejection, hindi na to valid, wala na to sa strategy natin. GBP-USD example. So, nag-breakdown na tayo from this divergence, so lower low. Maghihintay tayo ng pullback. So, nag-start na mag-pullback yung price. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin dito, magpa-plot ng Fibonacci retracement. And since this is a bearish move, ipa-plot natin yung Fibonacci retracement natin from this high to this low. And then lalabas yung ratio. So, ang trading zone natin between 38.2 to 618%. Yung trigger natin, mga candlestick rejection. So, dito meron tayong bearish rejection sa 38.2%. Pero hindi siya nag-play out. So, dito na stop out. And then dito sa 618 ulit, nag-print ulit siya ng bearish rejection candlestick. Okay? Now, there will be instances na may stop out kayo dun sa first attempt nyo. Pero pwede pa rin kayong mag-re-enter. Okay? Babawi tayo dito sa risk to reward ratio. Alright? So remember, for our entry, dapat nandito sa zone na to. Pwedeng mag-overshoot ng onte. Pero dapat hindi sobrang layo from 618%. And maghihintay tayo ng candlestick rejection. Okay? So that's for our entry. Now, let's talk about stop loss. So, stop loss, always put your stop loss at level where your stop is proven wrong. So, dapat nilalagay natin to dun kung saan may invalidate yung setup natin or yung analysis natin. Do not place your stop loss according to your own pain threshold kasi yung market wala siyang pakialam sa pain threshold natin. Do not use fixed number of pips as your stop loss. Kasi a static number value has absolutely no meaning in the market. So, let's say for example, nasanay ka na, say, 25 pips yung stop loss mo lagi pag nagtitrade ka. No? Magiging problem mo dito, yung market kasi dynamic yan. Right? Nag-evolve, parang nag-grow. So, yung daily average pip range niya, nag-iiba-iba din. Pwedeng today, ang average range ng EUR-USD is 50 pips. Next week, pwede siyang mag-average ng 70 or 80 pips, right? So, nagbabago-bago. So, I don't really suggest using fixed number of pips as your stop loss. Okay? Put your stop loss 1 pip below or above the candlestick rejection. So, ito yung gagamitin natin. 1 pip below or above the candlestick rejection. Okay? So, yung example natin dito sa Euro USD. Right? So, nakapag-enter na tayo kasi meron na tayong rejection candlestick. So, mag-enter tayo ng trade dito. Okay? So, pag-close na itong candlestick na to, stop loss natin, 1 pip below this low. So, ito yung GBP-USD example. So, may bearish candlestick na tayo. Papasok tayo after this candlestick close. So, ito yung entry natin. And then, ito yung stop loss. So, above candlestick formation lang. Okay? So, ano yung reason behind this? Kasi, since nagabang tayo ng candlestick rejection, in-expect natin na yung candlestick rejection na yun na yung magiging trigger para mag-reverse yung move ng price, right? Kaya nga siya tinawag na rejection candlestick. Kaya above the candlestick lang yung stop loss placement natin. Okay? Now, let's talk about the profit target. So, meron tayong default target na 127.2%. Pero, pwede nyo rin gamitin yung previous low or high or yung recent support and resistance. Okay? Pero yung default target natin is yung negative 127.2%. So, kung medyo gusto nyo maging sobrang systematic, pwede nyo gamitin yung default target natin. So, again, going back to this example, Euro-USD 5-minute time frame. So, may setup na tayo. Ito yung divergence. Alright, then na-break yung neckline. Nagkaroon ng higher high. Plot natin yung fib natin. Dito tayo magte-trade sa 38, 50, and 618%. Enter tayo ng trade kasi mayroon na tayong candlestick rejection. Put our stop loss a pip below the candlestick. And then, ito yung target natin. Okay? So, pag plot natin tong fib, since inayos na natin yung settings, lalabas na yung 127.2%. So, yan yun. Negative 27%. Okay? So, ito yung magiging target natin. So, ito yung nangyari next. Okay? So, ito yung entry natin. Stop, target na hit. So, yung risk to reward ratio ng trade na to is 1:3.73. Ibig sabihin, kung nag-risk tayo ng 1%, okay, for example lang, 1%. Ang reward natin is 3.73%. So, that's almost times 4 nung risk natin. So, ito yung GBP-USD example. Nag-enter tayo dito. Okay, candlestick. So, ito yung divergence natin. Neckline. So, candlestick, rejection, stop loss above the candlestick. So, a pip above the candlestick. Entry. So, profit target natin nandito sa baba kasi short setup to. Okay? Tingnan natin yung nangyari. So, from our entry, tumuloy-tuloy yung pagbaba niya. And then, na-hit yung target natin. So, in terms of risk to reward ratio dito sa trade na to, so, ang risk to reward natin is 1:4.87. Ibig sabihin, if nagre-risk tayo ng $10 dito sa trade na to, ang reward natin is 48.7 $48.7. Okay? So, kung makikita nyo, malaki yung reward natin dito sa strategy na to. Now, ang question, what to do if you get stop out? Okay? So, you can still re-enter the trade if another candlestick rejection appear. So, pwede kayong mag-re-enter. Okay? So, okay lang and normal lang na magkakaroon tayo ng stop out dito. Okay? Normal lang yan. Ang imagine niyo na lang, i-treat nyo siya as cost of doing the business. Okay? So, meron tayong isang pwedeng re-enter. So, sa isang setup, pwede tayong 2 beses mag-trade. If ever na-stop out yung first trade natin. Now, what if ma-stop out ulit yung second trade natin? So, kapag ganun yung nangyari, next. Okay, hanap na tayo ng iba. Alright? And don't think about the previous trades, winner or loser. So, kailangan neutral lang tayo when when looking for the next trading opportunity. Okay? So, wag tayong mag-focus sa isang trades lang. Since mag-scalp tayo dito or magde-day trade, medyo madami-dami yung trades natin. So, kailangan hindi tayo sobrang invested sa isang trade. Okay? Losing is part of the game, so always remember that. And when things are not clear, don't do anything. Alright? Now, since scalping strategy to, sobrang importante na yung account na gamit natin, sobrang liit ng spread. Kasi in terms of pip range, hindi ganun kalaki yung kinukuha natin. Since sa maliit na time frame tayo, nagtitrade. So, paano ba tayo makakakuha ng account na merong maliit na spread? Okay, so when looking for a very low spread na account, so dito tayo matutulungan ni OctaFX. So right now, makikita nyo na nasa OctaFX webpage ako. So dito, papakita ko sa inyo yung spread nila. So right here, makikita natin kapag nag-open tayo ng trade. Kasi, by the way guys, so just so you know, meron tayong dalawang spread na binabayaran kapag nagtitrade tayo. So first, when we enter the trade, and then second, when we exit the trade. Alright? So dito, kung papansin niyo with OctaFX, 0.4 pips lang, which is based on my 10 years experience, sobrang baba nito as compared to other brokers na nag-a-average sila ng 1 to 2.5 pips. Pag-enter pa lang yan ng trade. Now, of course, kung mag-enter tayo ng trade, lalabas din tayo ng trade, right? So, right here, makikita natin na kapag nag-close tayo ng trade, may spread pa rin, right? So, dito, with OctaFX, 0.5 pips lang as compared to other brokers na medyo malaki na nasa around 2 pips. So, as you can see, kung i-compare natin, so ito yung entry natin, ito yung exit natin, with OctaFX, less than 1 pip lang yung total spread niya, entry and exit. With other brokers, aabot ng almost 4 pips or around 4 pips yung kailangan nating bayaran na spread. And remember, nag-scalp tayo dito sa strategy natin. So, every pip is very important. So, dito tayo matutulungan ng OctaFX. Alright? So, with that, na-discuss ko na yung setup natin, na-discuss ko na yung entry criteria, stop loss, and take profit. Ngayon naman, I'll give you some examples. So, first, this one is from USD JPY. So, 5-minute time frame pa rin. Meron tayong hourly resistance right here. So, as you can see, galing tayo ng uptrending market. So, yung price, gumagawa siya ng higher high. Pero kung titingnan natin yung MACD or momentum indicator natin, gumagawa siya ng lower high. So, may possible reversal tayo. Midpoint, ito yung neckline natin. And as you can see, nagkaroon tayo ng aggressive decline na break yung neckline. So, nagkaroon tayo ng setup. Okay? So, may lower low na tayo and then maghihintay tayo ng first pullback. Okay? So, pag nakita na natin na nagre-retrace na yung price, plot na natin yung fib natin. So, since this is a bearish setup, from high to low, yung pag-plot natin ng fib. So, lalabas yung mga ratio natin. So, 38, 50, 618. So, ito yung trading zone natin. Okay? Now, pumunta na dito yung price sa trading zone natin. Maghihintay tayo ng candlestick rejection. So, in this example, meron tayong evening start. Right? And ang potential risk to reward ratio natin dito is 1:3.84. Okay? Stop loss natin above the candlestick lang. Profit target, -27. Let's see kung anong nangyari. So, in this case, makikita nyo na na-stop out tayo ng trade. And again, okay lang yan. Remember, pwede pa tayong mag-re-enter ng isang beses. This time, nakakita tayo ng another bearish rejection. So, ang potential risk to reward ratio naman natin dito is 1:3.39. So, stop loss above the candlestick, target is -27. This time, na-hit yung profit target. So, nabawi natin yung natalo natin nung una and nagkaroon pa tayo ng profit na 2 R. Okay? Let's have another example. NZD USD 5-minute time frame. So, galing tayo ng uptrending market and then yung price, ito yung ginawa niya, higher high. Pero yung momentum indicator natin, gumawa na siya ng lower high. Na-break na rin yung neckline. So, maghihintay tayo ng first pullback. Right? So, na-plot na natin yung fib from this high to this low. Ito na yung mga ratio natin. Natakpan lang ng onte. So, dito tayo magti-trade. So, nagkaroon tayo ng rejection candlestick right here. Ang potential risk-to-reward ratio natin dito is 1:1.93. So, almost 1:2. Enter tayo after mag-close na itong candlestick na to. And then, stop loss 1 pip above the candlestick. Target -27. Okay, tingnan natin kung ano nangyari. So, na-hit din agad yung target natin next candlestick. Okay? Another example, gold, 5-minute time frame. So, dito, galing sa downside move yung price. Nagkaroon tayo dito ng lower low in price. Pero yung momentum indicator natin, gumawa na ng higher low. Ito yung neckline natin na break. So, nagkaroon tayo ng higher high. So, hintay tayo ng first pullback. So, kapag nakita na natin na nagsisimula ng mag-retrace, pa-plot natin yung fib natin from this low to this high. And then, mag-enter tayo dito sa trading zone natin. So, kapag meron ng candlestick rejection, pwede na tayo mag-trade. Enter the trade. Stop loss below the low of the candlestick. So, 1 pip below the low. Target, -27. Okay? So, dito ang laki ng risk-to-reward ratio natin. 1:12.63. Right? Tingnan natin kung anong nangyari. So, dito, nag-consolidate siya. Right? Hindi niya actually na-hit yung target. Pero nag-consolidate siya. Okay? So, dito, nung na-hit niya yung high, hindi na siya nakapag-trade above. So, at this point, pwede na natin i-close yung trade natin. So, pag close natin yung trade natin, siguro meron tayong 1:1 point, around 1:7 R risk-to-reward ratio. So, sobrang laki na rin, right? And that is why, importante din na marunong tayong magbasa ng market. Okay? Kailangan natin mag-gauge kung ayaw na bang umangat ng price and magre-reverse na rin. Okay? But again, kahit na saan tayo dito mag-close ng trade, during this consolidation, malaki pa rin yung nakuha nating reward. Alright? Another example, EUR/USD 5-minute time frame naman. So, yung price gumawa ng higher high, momentum indicator natin gumawa ng lower high. Ito yung neckline natin. Nagkaroon tayo ng breakdown, so lower low. Hintay tayo ng first pullback. Kapag nakita na natin, nagre-retrace, plot our fib from this high to this low. Ito yung ratio natin, trading zone. And then, stop loss or entry muna. Entry pagka-close na itong bearish candlestick na to. Stop loss a pip above the candlestick pattern kasi this one, nagkaroon tayo ng evening start. So, ang risk-to-reward ratio natin dito is 1:2.43. Okay, target, -27. And ito yung nangyari. Na-hit eventually yung target natin. Okay? Another example, USD CHF, 5-minute time frame. So, galing tayo ng downside move. Dito, may divergence tayo. Yung price gumawa ng lower low. Pero yung momentum indicator gumawa ng higher low. Nagkaroon tayo ng aggressive rally to the upside na break yung neckline. Hintay tayo ng pullback. So, pag nakita na natin yung first pullback, plot tayo ng fib from this low to this high. Then, ito yung ratio natin, trading zone. Dito tayo mag-aabang ng candlestick pattern. So, dito, nagkaroon tayo naman ng morning star candlestick formation, right? So, enter tayo ng trade. Stop loss a pip below the low. Ang risk-to-reward ratio natin dito, so, ang target natin, -27. So, risk-to-reward ratio is 1:6.24. Okay? And then, tingnan natin kung ano nangyari. So dito, na-hit yung target natin. So as you can see, sobrang laki nung reward nitong strategy na to. Alright? So that's pretty much it for our scalping workshop. I hope may natutunan kayo. Now, just a reminder, hindi to holy grail strategy kasi walang holy grail strategy. Hindi to nag-work 100% of the time. So, for this strategy to work for you, kailangan itry nyo, itest nyo sa demo or sa maliit na account, right? Kasi hindi to 100% nag-work every time. Like any other strategy, right? So, very important pa rin na may risk management tayo, and also, sobrang importante na yung account na ginagamit natin maliit na spread kasi nasa maliit na time frame tayo. So, every pip is very important. Okay? So, with that, thank you very much for attending this workshop. Good luck, guys, and trade safe.